There's nothing like a relaxing family holiday, and I can tell you that this is nothing like a relaxing family holiday because I've been sent by Airbnb to a building site. And this isn't a stunt that I've pulled for YouTube. This isn't something that I've set up just to make a video and try to impress everyone. This is actual real life. This is my family holiday. And as you can see, I am located right on a building site. And I was told by Airbnb that this was a luxurious place to stay. It was going to be a fantastic, relaxing break. And from this side of the video, you would think it is, because it looks pretty good, doesn't it? And we've paid full price for this. This wasn't a discount. I didn't get a bargain deal because of what's going on behind me with this horrendous digger and all the noise and the dust and the fact that there's absolutely no fence whatsoever here. We haven't got any privacy. I'm literally looking at a building site when I'm sitting trying to sunbathe. Absolutely outrageous. And the listing for this property didn't mention anything about this building site. And the only notification, the only indication I had that something was going wrong was about 3 or 4 days before I came here. I got a message from the host saying, "We've been notified by City Hall that some building work may take place close to the villa." And I responded to that saying, well, how close is it? And can you send me some photos? Because I was a bit concerned that something bad was going to happen. And the response I got was no photos. I didn't get to see any of this, because obviously if I had of, I wouldn't have come here. I wouldn't have turned up to spend some time looking at that being covered in dust and watching all of these workmen who are over there staring at me in my Speedos the whole time, which obviously, yeah, they might enjoy it a little bit, but I'm not enjoying them looking at me in my Speedos. I don't actually have any Speedos, I would like to say, but I was just adding that for comic effect. So if I'd have known about this, I definitely wouldn't have come. So the owner has misled me. It's basically fraud. Airbnb now need to sort this out. And if you have a look at this scheme, we've had a look at it online. This is a 1.5 billion euro scheme that was approved in March, so this has been going on for months. It goes for a long way. What they're doing is moving large quantities of rock that they've got over there in the sort of a quarry with these diggers and building up a wall that you can see here, which is some sort of flood defence system. And I went into town yesterday, and around a mile that way, they're still building this wall. So this has been going on for months and months and months. So the owners were fully aware of this. When they took my money, when they took the booking, they knew that this was the situation. This is just outrageous. I mean, I hope you can hear me over the noise of all of these rocks and this digger and all the people over there. And this goes on from 7:30 in the morning. So I'm filming this in the morning because I was woken up this morning by the sound of a digger moving rocks, which is not really what you want on your holiday. I mean, you can see here, it's so noisy and it is so close. I could literally touch that digger if I wanted to. I mean, he might as well start digging some water out of the pool behind me for a drink. It's that close. I mean, it really is ridiculous. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you about what you can do if you find yourself in a similar situation. If you get completely legged over by Airbnb like we have, would you classify this as a luxury holiday? Would you pay top dollar to stay here and have a look at this all day and be, I mean, I'm brown, mostly from dust as opposed from sunburn on this holiday. It's absolutely outrageous. So obviously I've been in contact with Airbnb about what's going on here. This is so noisy. And to try to get a refund. So I contacted them immediately as soon as we got here and said, this isn't a marvelous mansion that you described to us. This isn't a fantastic relaxing break as shown in all of these photos. I mean, I'll show you the original photos. We have a look now. You can see the original listing photos. And on this section where we look over the horrible building site, there are lovely green trees and bushes, and on the far side there's lots of greenery. So it looked like an idyllic place to spend some time and just kick back and relax. But obviously none of that exists anymore. Those photos were actually ancient. And really, if we look at the pool, you can see behind me that there's a metal spout. So this is meant to be a water fountain that puts water into the pool. It's actually broken, it doesn't work, so it's redundant. It looks like it's been in place for, a couple of years. The fact that it's broken tells me that it isn't brand new. but the listing photos actually show an urn there. So it's a completely different arrangement in the pool. And I think the photos for this villa are at least 2 or 3 years old. So this has certainly been in place for a long time. They've not been taken any time in the last 6 months or so. I've been completely ripped off here. The owner and the Airbnb are really taking limited responsibility. So I messaged them immediately saying, I want a refund, I want to move out, I'm going to relocate, but I need you to give me my money back so I can do that. Airbnb came back and said, you need to sort that out with the owner. That was their initial response, which I thought was absolutely outrageous. So I've already said, I want my money back to the owner. The owner came back and then said, well, we can't do that, but what we can do is give you a 30% discount. Well, 30% discount. If the price had been reduced by 30% and the listing showed this, I would not have come. I would not pay 70% to look at that for the whole of my holiday. And obviously, I'm here with my family and they're very upset about all of this. So I don't think 30% is anywhere near enough. I want my money back. I want the money that I paid given back to me to organise a new holiday, because the problem with a family holiday is you only do it once a year. Getting everybody together, the diaries all sorted out, is quite difficult. And so I can't actually replace this holiday with another holiday because there isn't time. I just can't fit it in. So this has basically just ruined my family holiday. And the guy who owns this villa is saying, well, I'll give you a 30% discount, I'll take 70%, which basically means that he's getting paid a huge amount of money to rent out his villa at a time when it should be unrentable. This shouldn't actually be happening. So I've said no to that. I went to Airbnb and said, look, I want a full refund. Airbnb have said they've got an insurance policy, which is great. That sounds pretty good, doesn't it? And the insurance policy covers me for 30% of the cost of my holiday. So I'm guessing that the owner of this villa knows about that. He knows that Airbnb can give me 30%, and he's offered me the 30% that they can give me. And basically what Airbnb have said is that I can have 30%, but in the first place I have to get it from the owner. So I have to rely on the guy who's already defrauded me out of all of this money, who's basically sold me this as a luxurious holiday, to give me 30%. And if he doesn't, and I don't know how long the period is before I have to wait for that money, if he doesn't give it to me, then Airbnb will give me that 30% under their insurance policy. In addition to that, Airbnb have said if I move out, if I can find somewhere else to go to, then they will give me a refund for the unspent nights, so the nights I haven't actually stayed at the villa, the future nights. But that will come later. I have to fund the move myself, and they'll reimburse me at some point down the line. I don't know when that is. Now, obviously, that involves a lot of money because I'm now having to buy a brand new holiday in addition to this holiday that I've already paid for. So Airbnb don't give you an instant refund, and they want you to negotiate with the owner. Now, I'm absolutely furious about this, as you might imagine, and hopefully you're getting from the message of this video. So I don't want to accept either a 30% discount or a refund at some point in the future. I want a full refund now. So that's what I'm trying to work on. But in addition to that, obviously, I'm trying to make it a nice holiday. And we've spent more time on this holiday talking about this and all of the builders and everything that's going on and what's going on with the owner and Airbnb than we have just relaxing and having nice family time. I've got more photos on my phone of this than I have of all the people that I'm holidaying with, because it's just winding me up so much. So in this video, I'm going to go through the details as to what happens with my claim. I'm intending to try to move out of this place, but it's actually quite difficult because now that I'm here, finding a place that's actually big enough for everybody, that's available at very short notice, isn't easy, because most of these sort of places are booked out for a whole week or 2 weeks. This place is really busy where I am in Spain, and so it's not that easy to actually just say to everybody, okay, let's move. And also, moving is a real pain because you have to check out at 10 in the morning and then you don't check in generally till about 4 in the new place. So what do you do for those missed hours during the day? It's just a complete waste of a day of your holiday. So I'm trying to relocate us. I'm trying to get away from this because it is driving me mad. These guys work all day, 7:30 till 4. So anything you've heard about Spanish workmen being lazy and not doing any work, not here, unfortunately. I'd be quite happy if they were just doing an hour here and there and having a long siesta. They're not. They're working, they're cracking on, moving rocks. It's basically like a prison, isn't it? You're just moving rocks, breaking rocks, watching people relocating rock the whole time. Absolutely outrageous. I mean, it is so ludicrous. It's funny, but it's not that funny when you're the person on holiday. I'll look back on this and think that was quite amusing, albeit only if I get my money back. So I'll let you know how we get on. In this video, we'll go through the process of me trying to get Airbnb to give me my money back. I'll let you know what happens with the owner, and I'll let you know what the outcome of everything is. Okay, this is a quick update. I'll let you know what's going on. So basically I've been looking into the situation, and as you can see, the building work's still going on. This is a few days later from the previous video that I made. You can see we've got a couple more diggers over here. They're actually taking a break at the moment, which is quite nice because it's about 8:30 in the morning. They started at 7:30 this morning. They were moving huge quantities of rock between themselves and then giving them over to these guys. So we've got 5 or 6 guys standing above us looking into the villa, which really isn't very pleasant, and they're now filling these metal cages. If you're interested in the civil engineering part of this, they're creating a really long wall of rocks. They're building up. You can see here they've got some metal caging, and then they have these metal baskets behind it. They fill the baskets with the rock, with the caging to support it, and then when they're in, they tie it all together. Very, very interesting, but not really what I wanted to be talking about on my holiday. Anyway, I've been looking into the situation, and we are covered by something called Airbnb cover. And Airbnb go to great lengths to say that this isn't actually an insurance policy, so it's not something that's provided by a third-party insurer. It's something that Airbnb offer to all of its clients. And it says that basically in the event that there's a problem with your accommodation, then you're covered potentially up to a full refund. However, Airbnb don't want to take primary responsibility for this. So what they want you to do is sort out the situation with your host. So basically, they would just like to not have any involvement at all. You have to speak to the owner and ask them either to fix the problem. Now, as you can see here, the owner can't fix this problem because this is a 1.5 billion euro construction project that's been going on for about 6 months from what I can see, and isn't likely to finish anytime soon. So the owner isn't going to be able to sort that out. What the owner could do is give me all of my money back, which I've asked for, but they've said that I'm entitled to a 30% refund, which I think is a bit of an insult, because if I'd have been told that I could come and holiday here. Now, if we have a look, like, you know, here's the pool and the sitting area there. There's the digger, which is about a metre away. You know, that's about 2 feet away from where we're sitting. And as you can see, these people over here, these men are at an elevated level, so they're higher than the pool. Sorry if you can't hear me for all the noise. They're at a high level, so they can look directly in when I'm sitting over there in my Speedos. So if I'd have been told this was the situation, that this was going to be my lovely relaxing family holiday, I certainly wouldn't have paid anything like 70% of the amount that I've paid. At the moment, I've paid 100%, so I'm getting nothing back right now. So I've been offered a rebate of 30%, which still means that the owner of this villa is making an absolute fortune from the misery that I've had to endure for the whole time that I've been here. So I don't think that that's right at all. I've taken that up with Airbnb. I've said that I don't think 30% is anywhere near enough. I want a full refund and an apology from Airbnb. That's what I'm asking for. Airbnb have said, just sent me a link to their policy which says that I'm entitled to some sort of refund in the event of a problem. But they haven't actually told me what I'm going to get or whether or not there's any chance that I will get a full refund. So as you can see, I'm still here at the moment. We've still got another couple of days here, so I won't be able to get really onto this case until I get back home. I will get onto it. I'm hoping that I'm going to get some reimbursement from either Airbnb or the host, or maybe a combination of both. But if you're in this situation, what you need to do is document the position. So Airbnb have told me I need to take loads of photos. So I've been sending them messages every single day on the Airbnb chat, sending them lots of photos of this sort of thing. I can't really, you're not allowed to send videos, so I can't get the noise and the dust that's being created, because that's obviously some of the problems. But I've been sending them lots and lots every single day so that I've got a full documentation when I get home to be able to take this up with them, because obviously when you get home it's easy to start thinking, oh, it wasn't too bad, it was okay, you know, maybe I can't be bothered. I don't want to do that. I'm going to take this all the way. So document it if you're in this situation. Make sure you record absolutely everything so that the Airbnb knows what's been going on and you've got a full record, and then take it as far as you can. So I'm now going to see how much I can get back from Airbnb, and I'll let you know later in this video. Here's an interesting development. I've been taking lots of pictures because Airbnb told me to take lots of pictures. And I was taking pictures of this guy in the digger behind me, and he got out and got very upset about it and started threatening me, saying, "You can't take any pictures of me." Now, I don't speak Spanish and I'm not sure he speaks that good English, so communication wasn't that great, but I don't know whether he's a master criminal, he's on the run, or whether he just doesn't like being photographed. But yeah, basically I'm just getting threatened in this villa now, so it just goes from bad to worse. Not only have I got to put up with these guys doing work all day, making lots of noise, creating lots of dust, they're now threatening me if I take pictures of them. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'll let you know. I'll see what happens. If he comes over the villa, jumps over the wall, then I'll try and get a video of that. So it just adds insult to injury, really, when I'm meant to be on a relaxing family holiday and now I'm being threatened by Spanish workmen. Airbnb not doing a great job in sorting this out. Ridiculous amount of noise. Hi, just thought I'd let you have another quick update. We've now got somebody who's been sent round to install a screen, but unfortunately they've come round just after all of the digger people have finished. So we've just finished with all the noise from the actual guys, and now we've got a guy who's drilling into the wall. So everybody has left the pool. Nobody wants to be sitting here listening to drilling. But as an update as to what's happening, I'm still in discussion with Airbnb, as you might imagine, and interestingly, they've now changed their tack, and they're now saying that the host hasn't violated any policies whatsoever. And in fact, it's our fault for coming here because we were warned when we were sent a message 4 days before we arrived that City Hall might be undertaking some building work close to the villa. Now, as I said earlier in the video, in response to that, I said, well, can you please let me know what that building work is, how close is the villa, and can you send me some photos? And they didn't respond to any of that. And if they'd sent me photos of this and all of the diggers and all the other things, then obviously I would never have booked it. But Airbnb are now trying to get out of it by saying that because they sent me that message and I decided to proceed with the booking, it's my fault. Now, obviously, I'm not very happy about that. And so I got into a discussion last night, quite late at night, because Airbnb are based in the States and I'm in Spain, so there's a big time difference. So it was like 1 in the morning for me. And I got to the stage where I said to them, well, what are you prepared to offer me? So they've offered me a sum of money, including some compensation. And the way that the discussions are turning at the moment, I've said, well, send me that money. I will take that offer. I'm not signing anything, but send me that money, because they said they would refund it to my credit card. So I've asked them to do that. I'm going to take that money because I want to bank it before they start changing their tune and saying, actually, you're not getting any refund whatsoever once I get home. So I'm in the process of trying to gather in that cash, and then once I get home, I'm going to try to see whether or not it's going to be possible to get some more compensation from them. My gut feel at the moment is that it's going to be very difficult, because having looked into the law and some other cases similar to this, if you remain in the accommodation, it weakens your position. But we've had to do that because we couldn't find any alternative accommodation in a short space of time. It's really difficult in the middle of the summer holidays to be able to find somewhere that's empty, everywhere is fully booked. So the fact that we couldn't move out has actually technically weakened our case, because it shows that the villa was habitable. And actually internally the villa is fine. So once you go in at night and close the doors, it's fine. But we didn't come on holiday to sit inside the villa all day. We came on holiday to sit in this garden and to enjoy the pool. And unfortunately, because of all the building work, that's been completely spoiled. Here I am on the last morning of our holiday, and I was woken up at 7:30 this morning by this digger, which has only just stopped. It was making a lot of noise by the time I got the camera and everything sorted out. They managed to jump out of the cab, and they're now doing some sort of injection stuff. I don't know what they're doing, but it's making a lot of noise. Sounds like an air gun. And we've got a lot of activity over on the other part of the construction as well. Just another annoyance, you know, the fact when you come on holiday, it's nice to be able to relax, lie in, stay in bed a bit longer than you normally would, not to be woken up at 7:30 every single day by these guys making loads of noise and digging and talking and shouting. Now, as I said in the last video, there was a guy here yesterday installing a fence, and you can see now there is a green barrier, and we'll go down and have a look at that, because even though they've installed the fence, it's actually completely see-through. So it does provide an element of privacy, but it's not really a proper fence. It's not a completely impenetrable. You can see through it. So let's go down and have a look at that. Yeah, so this is the fence that was constructed yesterday. You can see, if we go up to it, you can still see through. You can still see everything that's going on. You can see the workmen here walking along. It is better, obviously, than what we had previously, where there was absolutely no coverage whatsoever. But it still isn't ideal. I mean, they could have put something in here that isn't see-through, that basically would have protected us from the visuals a bit better. But as you can hear, you can still hear all of the noise from the machinery and the diggers. So even though you can't see it as easily, when things do appear, and there's a machine that's just coming now, there's beeping, the usual thing that they seem to want to reverse all the time and drop large quantities of rock the whole time. Yeah, you can see the diggers coming through here. Now, interestingly, they didn't put the fence all the way along. So if I go this way, you can see it stops at the barbecue over here. So if I come to this section, you can still see everything. You still see that digger, the digger that was just here. And if I go out here, you'll be able to see the extent of this construction work. It's really quite extensive. So yeah, we do have this green fence now. It's not particularly attractive. Anyway, as I mentioned in yesterday's video, I've been talking to a lawyer friend of mine about what I can do about this situation, and the fact that we've stayed in the villa for the whole holiday is an argument that I think Airbnb will use against us, to say, well, you know, if you're really unhappy, you would have moved. We tried to move, as I mentioned a number of times in this video. We just couldn't find anything that was suitable within this area that we could afford, because Airbnb said that they would give us a refund of any unused nights, but they don't give you that up front, and so you have to fund it yourself. So we've got another digger that's coming in here now, just behind me. Where is it? Just here. So you can hear the level of noise and just annoyance and disruption. They seem to want to reverse these things all the time, so it's constantly doing that beeping. So even if they're not dropping rocks, they're just doing that, which is really noisy. But generally speaking, they are moving rocks and making an incredible amount of noise. As you can see, we don't have any protection from this, and also the bedrooms are right next to, if we look up here, this bit here is where the bedrooms are, so this thing's, you know, very close to the bedrooms. Anyway, so I'm intending to try to get more money back. As I said earlier in the video, Airbnb have said that they've sent me a partial repayment and a small compensation payment, which is better than nothing. You know, I would take that. And if you're in a similar situation, if you find yourself like this when you come on holiday or any Airbnb stay, then, as I said earlier, what you need to do is document all of it, get onto Airbnb immediately, send them a message, send them some photos, tell them exactly what the problem is, so you've got that documentation, so you've got a full record. You don't have to try to remember everything. You can put it all down in those messages, use those messages as your case that you're building against them. So I'm going to use all of the evidence that I've got, everything that I've put together from this stay. I'm going to try to get more compensation, because I don't think what they've given me is actually enough to offset the disruption that I've had for this holiday. It really has spoiled the holiday, all of this. We have spent genuinely more time talking about this than anything else, and I have actually got a lot more photos of the construction work and the construction guys than I have of all the people that I've holidayed with, and that's not right, is it? That's not what I was intending for this holiday. Well, I'm now back home, and I can tell you that I've got a final settlement position, and the final position was that I ended up getting a 30% refund from the owner, and also another 30% refund from Airbnb, so a total refund of 60%. plus a small compensation payment and an apology from Airbnb, which overall I'm very happy with. And I think the moral of this story, if you're in a similar situation, is that what you need to do is, firstly, you need to get onto it very quickly. So if you're not happy with your accommodation, if there's something that isn't quite right, that doesn't match up with the original listing, you need to tell Airbnb immediately, get it on record, take photos, get some documentation so that you've got a history that you can refer back to, and then keep contacting Airbnb throughout the process until you leave wherever you're staying, and make sure that you keep on at them even when you come home. It's easy, I know, to basically fall into the trap of thinking, well, I'm home now, I don't really care, I just want to forget about it and move on. Don't do that, because as you've seen from today's video, I started off obviously very upset, continued in my dialogue, continued when I got home, and have found out a good resolution. So I'm quite happy with my outcome, and you need to do exactly the same if you're in this position. So hopefully you've enjoyed this slightly unusual video, and I'll see you again on the next.